And we are live with the Pulling Each Other Along show. This is Doug Cornfield along with my co-host Dave Clark and Dave Geist. We're all in town today. How you guys doing? I know we'll kind of do the introduction here while we get some folks, our typical listeners and watchers, in for the Pulling Each Other Along show this edition. And this is I think our 37th episode.
Wow.
If I counted right, because those first few I wasn't counting.
It's like Dave Clark's age, right? 37?
Yeah.
About right.
That's what he told his his wife he was like 26 when he was 37.
Oh, that's when we started with the clowns back in 85, I think.
Yeah, I think you guys still are clowns, but we have proof. Your favorite.
Hey,
so we gotta start getting some folks listening in here. We do have a special guest today that will be coming on, and we're going to do something a little differently today as people start joining the show. So how you guys doing?
Good. It's a little chilly here in Green Bay, but that's all right. Upper 40s, low 50s, cloudy. And next week's lows are in the 20s all week.
Wow, can't complain.
That's like frozen for Dave.
It's I'm looking at 78 down here with heavy thunderstorms. We got a cold front moving through, so it's going to drop us into the 60s tonight.
Oh
man,
look out,
parkas.
That's right.
Turn on the heat.
Get the ice melt out.
Turn on the heat. Oh, there we go. So anyway, we want to get the show going, and today we're going to do a little differently. For those just joining us, we're going to show a video, and then we're going to introduce the guests after the video plays. So it's a little differently today. This video was done by Dave Stevens, and he just released the video. And we had met this young man back in the summer when we did our disability baseball camp in Hickory, North Carolina with the Texas Rangers organization. And so we're going to show this video. And then after the video's done, we're going to come back and we're going to talk to Kevin and his mother, Jenn. So here we go. Let me cue it up.
Hi again, everybody. Dave Stevens here. And I talk about not having legs and how I have it better off than a lot of people. And then I meet people in my life who really show me that. And I've got a friend now from this guy named Kevin. And Kevin is going to tell us a little bit about his life. Kevin, take it over.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tooley, and I want to share my story. I was born normal and I had a brain injury when I was 2 weeks old, but I don't know the real story. My birth mother was on drugs and she left my older brother in charge of me and my sister. My real mom died because of drugs. One day, the police came and I didn't understand why I had to leave home because I was young. I was in different homes until social services located my father and I moved in with my father. My dad tried to take care of me. Then, I started at Conover School and they helped me with getting my power chair and a communication device. My speech-language pathologist gave me the communication device and I had it programmed myself. My physical therapist taught me how to drive a power chair, but driving a power chair is hard to do. On the other hand, driving a power chair gives me independence. While I was at Conover School, I met Jenn and she would take me on weekends. She was my aide at school and we became very close. My teacher saw that I was smart enough to be in a regular school and I went to Startown Elementary School starting in the 2nd grade. A couple of weeks after I started going to Startown, Jenn approached my father at the water fountain at Conover School and said to let me live with her. I know that my father loves me and he wanted me to have a great life. Jenn was willing enough to care of me and help me. One day at school, this boy called me a stupid kid. I told him that I would run over him and kick his tail, and he told the teacher and I was sent to the principal and I got detention. I got so mad that I decided to push the big plant to the cafeteria and got suspended from school for a day. I stayed at Startown through the 5th grade. I went to Newton Conover Middle School for 6th and 7th grade, skipped the 8th grade so I could graduate on time. I graduated from Newton Conover High School in 2003. I went to St. Andrews University, but I didn't get to graduate because the college closed the disabled dorm. I came back home and got an associate's degree from CVCC. School took a lot of my time and energy because I wanted to give my best work. The communication device I have now is mouse controlled through my joystick on my power chair. There are 5 points I would like to make. First point is be reliable. If you have a job and you don't show up, chances of you keeping that job would not be good. Second point, don't underestimate yourself. If you don't think that you can do something, at least make an attempt in whatever you want to do. Third point is learn from your mistakes. If you do something wrong, take responsibility for your faults. Fourth point is respect is earned when you give respect to people. The last point is don't let anybody tell you that you can't, because you can. Today, I attend the adult life programs and I am the ambassador, which it means that I tell the needs of other people and I help plan activities for everybody. Also, I have a speaking business of my own called Tooley Speak. I speak to give back to society and I get satisfaction when I'm able to educate the public. I'm a part of Ainsley's Angels. Ainsley's Angels is an organization that we have runners pushing people with disabilities in race chairs around the city, and we have races one Saturday a month. I did my first 24-hour marathon being pushed. Also, I'm a part of Walk and Roll Activities League, and we do t-ball, swimming, game night and dances. I named the league Walk and Roll because some of us walk and some of us roll. I learned how to adapt to the world because disabled people can't make the world adapt to them. I believe that God put everybody on earth for a purpose. Life is like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you are going to get. I still have the drive to make an impact on the world. Everybody has a disability of some type, but you don't need to let it stop you from anything. Thank you for letting me speak.
That doesn't move you. I don't know what will. Don't take your gifts for granted. There's a lot of Kevins out there that have a lot to give. Think about that. Thank you, Kevin.
There you have it. Dave Stevens, great job on the video, and thank you for being able to introduce Kevin. Kevin, great job on your speaking, and you know, what a really nice video. So, without further ado, I have some special music that I want to play. It's tricky when I do this to pull in Kevin. Kevin, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Is this some good music for you? Because I'm sure you can't drive 55.
I have a feeling he might be able to.
There you go, Kevin. I hope that was appropriate bumper music to bring you into the show. Jen, thanks for being with us today. I know this will be a little bit different, but for those, please ask some questions. We have a few questions that we're going to have for Kevin, and I think we have one prepared. If I'm not mistaken, are we ready? Because there's one question that we like to ask at each show, and that's the question of what pulled Kevin along in his life. Kevin, do you have that ready?
He'll get it ready in just 1 second.
All righty. Well, we'll head as soon as he can go with that. Then we'll let him push that and have that ready, and then we'll have his other questions. A couple of questions that we have there.
I think he kind of grouped all three of your questions together in one answer.
Oh, in one answer. So we've got three.
Perfect.
What we got the donut question. Is that going to be all in there? So we got the donut question. And then what's the other question that I asked you to do?
Who was going to win the game Thursday night?
All right, who's going to win the game? So, so we've got we're going to get all these questions all at one time. We're going to get our famous donut question because Dave loves donuts so much and he doesn't like to share. And then we're going to have the game. We got what? The Cardinals and Green
Bay Packers.
We have them playing tonight.
Wait a minute. He's proving me wrong. He's actually going to answer one question at a time.
All righty. So let's start with
here's the answer to the first one.
All righty. Here we go. And this is the what pulled him along question.
Okay. He says that my community pulls me along. Kevin thinks that it takes a village to raise a kid. So when I asked him this question, he kind of said, you know what? It took my physical therapist, my speech therapist, you, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, Walkin Roll, Ansley's Angels. So he kept naming all these things. And I said, you got to keep it short. So he decided with my community.
That's a good answer.
That is a great answer, actually. And, and I have some pictures. Let's see. I've got him here. Oh, no, that's a picture I wanted to ask a question about. But, Jen, you might have to answer that one. Here. Well, no, this question, I want to go to that picture later as well. Let's see. There you two guys are. So I'm sure you are a part of that community.
Yes.
And let's see over here. There he goes. I know that's part of the community, him being pushed and part of these races,
right?
Like Dick Hoyt and all those kind of things. So community is a great answer. Right. And before we go to the next question that we do on the show, which because it's Thursday night, we've been doing the question, who is going to win tonight's game? I want to back up a second because this is, I believe, the records.
Wow.
I got Dave Clark up there on top, and he's got 5 wins and 2 losses.
Oh,
and he probably hates this, but he's got me next, and 5 wins and 2 losses. And then Dave Geis, I don't know. You sent me this picture of you, and I guess he's got 4 wins and 3 losses. But before we go any further, when I saw this picture of Dave Geis, I'm like, was he part of the Little Rascals? I'm thinking he had to be. Did you?
How did you know that, man?
So the question is, did Dave Geis guest star on the Little Rascals? And I need some answers from the people out there in the Pulling Each Other Along show. Because I don't know, were you Spanky's son or something?
It's like a body double, man.
There had to be something there. I don't know, but
that was my job before the clowns.
I don't know. How did you turn into Colgate Boy here from that? I don't even know how that happened.
I don't either.
But anyway, so Dave and I are at 5-2. To go back to this beautiful graphic that I put together, Dave's 5 and 2 losses, and I'm 5-2. And Dave Geis, you are bringing up the rear end there, the caboose, and hopefully you do better today. So I think we should try to let Kevin go first.
Here we go
with his prediction. He's a huge sports fan. This man. So Kevin, who is going to win? The rookie, not rookie, but the seasoned veteran with the starting star with the Cardinals. Who's going to win?
Cardinals.
All right. I feel much better about my pick. Dave Clark, you're next.
Packers.
Going
with the Pack.
I knew you were going to go with the Packers.
Really? Here's a statistic. Here's a statistic. I just saw this.
Dave
before
Geis.
the show started. I just saw this.
Dave Geis, who do you got?
Wait, Dave's. What do you got, Dave?
There's a stat. The Packers have not beat a 7-0 team since 1934.
Wow.
Well, that's
I don't think they're going to
be.
tonight either.
So,
You
all
just
right.
got-
So,
you know,
who you got, Dave, guys?
well, they got too many guys out. Adams isn't playing. Lazard isn't playing. The defensive coordinator is not there. I have to go with the Cardinals.
Oh my
Cardinals.
gosh.
So
I
I am definitely going with the Cardinals as well.
I'm the outlier.
Yeah.
So let's see if we might have one other person to ask tonight. Dave Stevens joins the
Yay.
show.
There he
Nice
is.
interview,
Yes.
Dave Stevens.
Dave Stevens.
Uh-oh, are you muted? You're whispering tonight, Dave.
Oh,
Come on, you're the 7-time Emmy Award winner.
he's the
Dave Stevens.
he's a TV vet. He should be able to figure this.
I can't hear him. We cannot hear him.
Dave Stevens. Oh no, he's not gonna be able to tell us who wins. Well, let's see. Oh, this is kind of funny.
Yeah, I like that comment.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
Let's see. I don't have you muted on my end. Let's see. No. Dave Stevens needs his microphone. I don't know. Technology. It's always beautiful. Why don't you wave and say hi to Kevin? Because that's why we brought you on. And maybe I'll check back with you in a minute if you can figure out what your there he goes. He's going to go off. Maybe he'll try to come back on. We'll see what happens. Anyway, yes, Mike Bowers, I agree. He looked like a catcher from pretty much day one.
Yeah. What can I say? You should have seen the set of shin guards I had.
Yeah. What was special about those? They cover your whole body?
Yeah. Well, you know, I was only like 2 years old then. So.
All right, we're going to try again with Mr. Stevens. Are you there, Dave? You are still whispering.
Nope.
The pulling each other along show that we tried to bring
Kevin,
Dave
Pad of
Stevens
paper
in.
out.
your volume up.
Yeah, the good old-fashioned turn the volume on, Dave.
He's the pro.
Yep.
Nothing?
Get the pad of paper and pen out.
Nothing.
Hold the sign up.
Where's the
We
sporting news?
we tried. Everybody say we tried, and Dave, I don't know. We can have you on the sidelines for looks. You know, I don't know if that's good. You can keep trying, and we'll have you over the sidelines. So let's see. Oh no, there he goes.
Nope,
Bye,
he
Dave
left.
Stevens. Well, that's always fun.
Maybe
when
if
we
he
have-
logs back in, it'll work.
All righty. So you've got so who's got all the Cardinals? It's me, everybody but Dave Clark.
Yeah. I hate to
And
say
you're
it.
echoing, Doug.
Living here in Green Bay, I hate to say it, but I can't go with him this week.
You can't go with them this week. Winning means more than staying. All right, Dave, you have a chance to take the lead.
Looks like
I guess
I'm
I have
going
a
to
chance
be
to
the
take the
lone
lead.
guy at the top.
Kevin, but I'm going to be right, Kevin?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
Kevin says yep.
It gets lonely at the top.
Very good.
It's even lower here at the bottom.
I don't know what other questions we had for Kevin, but the community question was really good, and
Yeah.
we appreciate Jenn. So, kind of give a little background of how, if you don't mind, how you two connected, how you basically, in essence, became his mom.
Well, basically, I worked at a school called Conover School, and it's a school for disabled students only. And Kevin crossed my doors back in the 90s, and I had found out that he could no longer live with his mother due to situations that had happened, and that he was living with his dad, but his dad was having a lot of trouble taking care of him because of some health issues he had, and also just some of the situations that was going on with him. And I used to tell people, you know, people take home cats, dogs, I take home children. So I took Kevin, I asked his dad if, you know, Kevin could come live with me. And I always tell people, have you ever done something in your life and then you go, oh my gosh, what did I just do? And that was sort of the moment I had at the water fountain. I don't know if it was intervention or God intervention or whatever, but it just came out of my mouth standing there at the water fountain. I said, let Kevin come live with me and I'll take care of him. And I was actually single at that time. I was 27 years old and single. And the dad, said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. But I, unbeknownst to me, learned that that was the best decision I had ever done in my whole entire life. Because Kevin has definitely been a blessing in my life and just shown me how to, just deal with things in life as they come. I mean, he never lets anything slow him down. He never lets anything stop him. And he's been just about as much as a blessing to me as I have been to him.
I bet. And I know he's probably pulled you along as much as he's been pulled along by you. It's my guess.
He has. He kind of settled me down a little bit. I was a little bit of a wild river woman. I was out on the rivers all the time. So he kind of settled me down a little bit.
I gotcha. All right. We're getting a little personal here. Somebody wants to say, ask him if he had a girlfriend.
Oh.
I saw a lot of pictures with
Oh,
Kevin and these
must have
girls.
When we met.
Do you have a girlfriend? Yes, he does have a girlfriend.
All righty. Well, we got
He
to
does
at least
have a
know the
girlfriend,
story from
and
somebody.
She keeps him straight, let me tell you. She
Wow.
fusses at him all the time and keeps him straight.
So
Very good.
I like to ask about this shirt right here. It must be part of it. If you I'm just like you, except what? He's smarter and better looking.
Exactly. I'm just like you, but smarter and better looking.
Yeah, it's great.
One of the things that I appreciate about that particular shirt is just that of the humor of it, and that he's willing to be humorous. It's one of the things I appreciate about Dave Clark, Dave Stevens, my son Gideon. We're all born with differences, and let's see, Dave Stevens, give us a shout out if you're there.
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
hey,
we have
There
him.
he is.
Welcome to
have
the
him.
show, Dave.
I went and
Dave
got
Stevens.
I got my Moxie, so I'm all set. You ever had
All
Moxie?
righty, Diet Moxie.
Diet Moxie.
What is that?
works.
I've never heard of
How
that.
much you get paid for that, Dave?
I'm not yet, but I'm gonna have to go Cardinals, right?
Go Cardinals. It's everybody's Cardinals.
No.
Besides losing JJ Watt,
Yeah.
they're gonna be okay. I mean,
Sure.
the Packers have lost a couple of guys. Rodgers always figures out a way to throw to somebody, but I just
That's
think
right.
he's down too many bodies tonight. So I think it'll be a low-scoring game, but Arizona's gonna win.
All right, we'll see who's the smartest football player. I think Kevin is, because Kevin predicted the Cardinals, and
Yeah.
and I don't know about that low scoring game. I've seen their offense.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
I don't think Green Bay's defense will be able to handle Arizona's speed on offense.
Yeah, he's a faster quarterback. Rodgers isn't a scrambling type like
No.
Arizona has. So
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Right.
But it's great to be able to say hi to Kevin. Kevin, I know we took a couple of months to share your story, but wanted to let the summer settle down. And it was great to see the feedback, on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and everything. Just the love that everybody, had for you and your story, and sharing it, how personal it was and how vulnerable you are. So, I appreciate you giving me your time and letting me kind of tell your story, and, making it a part of what we do for Disability Dream and Do.
Right. Very nice. So,
And he's wearing his shirt.
Now, have you guys reminded people to vote, by the way?
no, not yet. That's coming. So we've got something special. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about that, so we can get them to our pages and ask them to pull us along for this kind of unique thing that just came up.
Yeah, it was pretty shocking. I wasn't even aware of it. I'm shocked that Steve Gliner didn't tell us, but the Hudson Valley Renegades, I guess they submitted our D3 day camp with part of the highlights of Lil, a child who is blind, and I playing baseball, running around the bases and playing catch and stuff like that. And it's up for one of the top 5 moments of the year at milb.com. And you can go to our Facebook page on Pulling Each Other Along, Disability Dream and Do, and just click on the link on Facebook. You can go and vote as many times as you want. So Donald Trump would be very happy with that. And, help us to do something that, Disability Dream and Do was up for an award a long, long time ago. Didn't you finish second in baseball with
Yeah, we actually tied.
It was like a virtual tie percentage-wise, but I guess they had a few more votes.
I don't know what we get, but it just gives us some street cred, especially with how tough it's been the last couple of years to do our camp. So, don't accidentally click on the dad that comes home from the military and hugs his son. You see that every time. So screw that stuff. Click on the blind and legless kid.
Thank you.
Do that right now. Go click.
Yeah, go click. It's on our Facebook page, D3 Day. There's probably some other places. It gives you a link to go to the minor league baseball. And Dave, thank you for showing such a heart toward Lily and creating those moments. And of course, Dave Clark creating the whole Disability Dream and Do, so we get to go do those things. So great stuff. And help us win that. Help pull us along. Go vote regularly.
Thank you for
And,
what you do.
There you go. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin.
All right, guys. Have a good
All
night.
right.
I'm going to go back and watch the show and
Thank
maybe
you
a little
for
football.
what you do.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Love you
Go
guys.
Hey,
Cardinals.
Dave.
Go
Hey,
Cardinals.
Dave.
Easy, Dave.
Kim just put up. My cousin
Let's see
Kim.
here. What did we just have? Kimberly just put something up here. Cousin Kevin has been a part of our family for many years. When he was little, my son and nephew would argue about who got to play in Kevin's wheelchair. There you go. Yeah, that's a good argument, I'm sure. It's kind of like you in the wagon with pulling each other along. Once you
Exactly.
got in the wagon, everybody
Exactly,
wanted
Everybody wanted to
take
pull.
turns pulling.
See, with the clowns, it was different. We would get stuck. It would rotate around, and who had to straighten his crutches out after he'd hit poles with it.
After he hit him over your head.
Oh,
Oh yeah, there's something wrong with our Dave Clark. That is for sure. Hey,
don't believe a word of it.
I was
Don't believe a
texting
word of
Kevin last night, and he came up with something I thought was very interesting. I didn't get to make a graphic of this, and I didn't ask Kevin to have this prepped. But Kevin, if you can maybe get it prepped, I'm going to ask Dave Clark and Dave Geis this question. It's a baseball question. It's the World Series. Mike Bowers is already wanting to know who you think's going to win. I can answer that for you, Kevin. But he came up with who his Mount Rushmore of baseball is, I guess, or are, since it's more than one. So who would be your Mount Rushmore of baseball? There's only four Mount Rushmore. Who would you put on that mountain if it was baseball people?
What are we talking? Players?
Yeah, whatever. People at baseball, I mean,
So you're asking each of us to put?
Yeah, the two Daves. Who's your Mount Rushmore of baseball? I thought it was pretty cool way for Kevin to kind of share who his Mount Rushmore of baseball was. And Kevin, if you want to prepare that question, we can find out who yours were. But Dave Clark, who would you put on there?
Wow, that's a tough question.
It is a tough question.
Because you're really asking who pulled you along in a sense.
Maybe
in baseball,
it doesn't
and
have
people
to make any sense.
People that I'm going to name, probably nobody has ever heard of them.
That's fine. It's yours.
But I got to say that Frank Cashin, who people have heard about, I'm sure, was one of the very first guys that ever showed that sparked the dream in me that said this could be possible. Frank was with the Orioles at the time when the Orioles were owned by National Brewing and Jerry Hoffberger. And he actually brought my dad and me down to Memorial Stadium to meet with him there. The second guy for me would be John Stokey. He was a Orioles scout that really opened my eyes to the world of scouting, and never forgot to this day, the first thing he ever told me was, Dave, the best pitchers never get to the pros. And I had to look at him 3 times before I understood what he was saying, that coaches, little league coaches, high school coaches, even college coaches abuse the pitcher's arms. and the kid either has an injury or he's played too much baseball and he's burned out by the time he's 16, 17. Never forgot that. And one of the reasons I won't let my son play travel ball is because there is such a thing as overdoing it. So that'd be 2. Wow. Next guy would be Bill Heward for me. And I'm sure not many people have heard of Bill Heward. Bill was my first manager with the Indianapolis Clowns. And he was the one that actually put the infield in position and did bunt drills so that they could see exactly the area that I could cover. And then had to tap the infield to cover what I couldn't. And it really worked well. And Bill also put me in roles as a coach. He put me in roles as a player where I could succeed, given the strengths I had. So a lot of what Bill told me carried over into my coaching days. And then you were asking for a 4th one.
Only 3?
What's that?
Is there only 3?
No, it's only
Wouldn't
3.
Trey be there?
4th one.
Well, Kevin's got up somebody.
I think
Kevin?
4th one. Well, 4th one for me would be a guy that I never really even met, and that would be Earl Weaver. Earl Weaver, because I saw him in Elmira, and I saw him in Rochester, and I saw him in Baltimore.
So you went a completely different direction. I thought you would have put like Lou Gehrig or Hank Aaron or
It's tough to pick just 4 players.
Who's Kevin got? Is Kevin ready with some answers?
He's got on here Ruth Aaron Griffey Jr.
Griffey Jr.
And Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
Ruth Aaron and who else?
He's
There's
got
3. Chipper Jones.
Is that who? Yeah, he said Chipper Jones.
That's a good 4. What about you, Dave Geis?
Well,
Make it
I'm
quicker
kind of
than
going.
Dave Clark.
What's that?
Make it quicker than Dave Clark.
All right. Well, I'm kind of going the same route that Dave went. I've only got really one major league player on there. That's Ted Simmons.
Catcher.
Yep, catcher with the Cardinals and the Brewers. But watching him as a kid, he was just a laid back kind of guy. Just sat back there, caught real easy, and I unfortunately couldn't hit like him. But defensively, I kind of tried to model after him. But going back before Ted Simmons, a guy named Ron Singer, who was my little league coach, which really helped. He kind of taught me a little bit about catching and just what it meant to really stick with things, and he really gave me an opportunity. Harry Dalton, who was a GM with the Brewers, who called me and got me that little bit of a gig with the Brewers, and that meant a lot to me, and as far as getting baseball even further down the road, as far as coaching and that kind of thing. And the 4th guy, I know this is going to sound, but he's on the screen there.
This guy?
Yeah, I mean, I can't go through my baseball career, if you will, without mentioning Dave Clark, because what he did for me as far as the Clowns and teaching me so many things about the game and just what it takes to pursue that dream and even the coaching aspect of it. I mean, without being a part of Dave Clark's team and attending his camp and just knowing about Dave Clark, it would be totally different. So that would be the 4.
Yeah, I totally, unfortunately, agree with you. I just want to see Dave's bald head in stone. On the, that's the main reason. Someday Corning will have a statue of Dave Clark.
I hope not.
It'll probably be
Hopefully
one of these
it's not made
pictures
out of
here. Yeah, they will. But Dave definitely belongs there. Even someplace. Even Kevin said in my message that the other day, and I know you would disagree with this hard, Dave Clark, but he feels like you belong in the Hall of Fame. So And
You
in
know-
many ways, you really,
you know,
really
it-
do.
Yeah, that's not as far-fetched as it may sound. Really not.
It really isn't. It's just perspective. Dave doesn't even consider himself a major league prospect back in his day when he had Bill Veeck prospecting him, even though, for different reasons. But he wasn't going to pull him up unless he could get people out.
Mhm.
Did Kevin get something else prepared for that?
He's answering the questions that are on the screen. One of them asked him who he predicts for the World Series.
Yeah,
and he
who's that? We had that question coming up. Give us your
That was
answer,
mine.
Kevin. I know who it is.
He's got up the Braves.
Yep. Go figure.
Yep. Well, I know after talking with him last night, I know he's a Braves fan.
It's a good choice.
Now, Mike Bowers put up there, he said Tom Seaver and Tommy.
Tommy
You don't
Agee.
even know that name, do you, Doug?
I don't.
Tommy Agee. That's a
Tommy
nightmare.
Well,
Mike, don't bring that nightmare back, man.
Is there a story behind that, Dave Clark?
Well, that's the year the marble went through the TV.
Ah, there you go. That's what I was too little to remember.
Wait a minute. What?
You know what?
My
Kevin
brother
might be
made me
able to
do it.
relate to this. Kevin might be able to relate to that story. Why don't you? I don't know if have you told that one on here?
I don't know if I have or not, but it's not a good one.
Worthy for a second try.
Okay, so what Mike is alluding to there, our one of our first general managers with the Clowns, great friend of mine now. He's alluding to the New York Mets of 1969, who were heavy underdogs against my Baltimore Orioles going into that World Series. And I'll never forget, the Orioles won the first game. Everything was hunky-dory. And then the Mets won 4 in a row to sweep the series. And the last out was a fly ball to Cleon Jones in left field off the bat of Davy Johnson. Never forget it.
Yep.
And when Cleon Jones gloved the final out, he went down on one knee in left field. I had a marble in my hand, and the marble went flying straight through the picture of the picture tube or the television set. And let's just say my dad was not happy, and I paid the price.
I can kind of add to that story a little bit because Dave spoke at Corning and Corporate. This is now several years ago, and it's like literally the corporation's right out my door here. And it was at the major headquarters, and Dave was a keynote speaker. And Dave's dad was still with us at this point, and he was in the audience. And I came up with the creative idea of connecting Dave's speech with Gorilla Glass. And if you're not familiar with Corning Gorilla Glass, Corning makes the glass that's on our televisions and on our phones that's very hard and it doesn't break. So in Dave's speech, I don't do this very often, but Dave, I don't even think knew what Gorilla Glass was at the time. And so I had him tell that story where he's throwing the marble at the TV, and his line was, but it wasn't Gorilla Glass back then, to connect it to Corning. And the funny thing about it is Dave's dad, who, if you know, Dave is a little bit of a hothead, which I just put on the screen. Dave's father was still getting hot because of hearing that story of taking out one of those huge console televisions that they weren't very easily replaced back then. It wasn't like today where you break a TV and you don't sweat it so much. But anyway, Dave's father was still PO'd. I'll say it politely and nicely. He was still PO'd about his son breaking the television way back.
So thank you, Mike, for bringing that all back.
That's great.
The good stories. Now, Kevin, I think Kevin had a good story that you wanted to ask a question about, Dave, if I'm not.
I did because, it was really a pleasure getting to meet Kevin at the Rock and Roll in Hickory. My very first night there, and I got talking with Kevin, and there was a story that I kind of like had to do a second take, Kevin. Something about you walking into the wrong locker room. And I said, this is my kind of guy right here. And so I'd like you to expand on that story if you would.
Okay. Well, basically, he was in college, and I received a letter from the college saying he has trash detention duty for 2 weeks. And I'm like, what on earth could Kevin have done? And I get down to the bottom of the letter, and it says, was caught in the girls' shower room. I don't even
Way to go, Kevin.
I'm not even going to ask the question. Kevin just laughs and says trash duty for 2 weeks was worth it. That's all he said.
I don't know, Kevin. You might get canceled now, in today's world. It's kind of like Dave Clark. See if you can read this picture of Dave Clark. He says, I'm only in it for the good-looking girls. Is that how it was in your younger days? I think so. I don't know. We're all going to get canceled someday. Somebody's saying, Kevin.
You've been told on.
Yeah. Kurt, you're in the background.
Has a
Kurt
TV story as well.
What's that?
Well, we had a great big old TV on top of his desk over here. And I don't know who was playing or what game he got mad at. But when I came home, he had that big, huge console TV on his head. And he couldn't move. He had to just stay there because he knew if he moved, the TV would fall to the floor. All he told me was it was a lousy game. Yes, y'all have something in common with destroying TVs.
Man of my heart, Kevin.
There you go. The
so
destructors.
Now all his TVs, computer, stereo, everything's mounted to a wall. Everything.
No, that makes a whole lot of sense. So anyway,
don't come to TVs on her head anymore.
Any other questions from our people that are listening in? Feel free to ask a question tonight. We've been a little bit loose, a little bit different, having Kevin on the show and showing his interview with Jenn, filling in. When I was talking to Sharon, Jenn, about you and Kevin, she said basically you know him so well you can just basically read his mind.
Yeah,
is this true?
It's kind of scary. I'll be sitting upstairs and I just immediately yell downstairs, "I'm coming!" And my husband looks at me and says, "He didn't say anything." I said, "Yes, he did."
Yeah. Well, thanks to Tom reminding us.
Yes.
We didn't get to the donut question. So, Kevin, what is your favorite donut?
Okay, you want me to answer for you? His favorite donut now is liquefied because he's tube fed. But his favorite donut when he was a child was chocolate donuts. And matter of fact, he came in one time to Conover to announce that he had a whole box of chocolate Debbie cake donuts for breakfast.
All right, now we're all getting a little hungry.
And he was a ping pong ball after that all day long.
And his favorite now is liquefied.
Liquid donuts.
Yeah, liquid donuts. That's a new kind of donut. Let's see here. We got Mike Bowers. So, being that you're a great sports fan, Kevin, do you think the Braves can win without their number one pitcher?
Yes or no? He says, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah. He's got faith.
He's got faith.
Very good. Very good. Well, somebody thinks it's been a great show. Sharon, I don't know. You have another question out there, Sharon, for us? And I'm going to bring in Kurt. Kurt, you ready to come on? I better warn you and see if you're eating.
Hey,
Kurt, you got anything for us from Wisconsin?
Yeah, I was listening to that Packer rhetoric earlier. I'm just on a little downer. with that Packer talk. So
Are you going to the pack with me, Kevin?
Or that's
Are you
Kurt.
going with the pack with me?
Are you going with, no, he's saying no. You're alone. You're alone on this.
Kurt, are you frozen or are you just
He's frozen. No. Yeah.
Kurt always looks like he's frozen.
that's my thing, isn't it? I
He
got to
stops.
do that every show.
It
now,
is.
right?
It is.
He just stops with his mouth open, so you can't ever
you
tell.
fake us out.
All my blood is rushing in my belly from that great dinner.
That's a long comment.
Thanks for your menu, Kevin. Thank you.
That's Kurt, not Kevin.
Kurt, I mean, thank you, Kurt.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, sorry, Kevin, that he insulted you. I apologize.
That is pretty bad. That is pretty bad. Let's see.
That is an insult, Kevin.
So Kurt, I take it you're going with Green Bay.
Yes, indeed, for sure.
Yeah.
You had to have some company with you, Dave. I don't know. Let's
Yeah,
see.
now I'm worried.
We got another question coming in from the Peanut Gallery, hence Sharon.
His costume.
Ask him about his Halloween costume a couple of years ago.
Obviously, Jenn knows what she's talking about.
Actually, it was all Kevin's idea. He came up with the original electric chair. We outfitted his chair to actually look like the old wooden electric chair. So he actually has the jailbird suit on with like a
Could he
thing
drive
over his
55?
head to electrify him and everything.
That's great.
Could he drive 55 is the question? His electric chair?
Huh?
Could he drive slower than 55?
Yeah, well, he got electrocuted every time he got past 25.
Oh. That would be shocking.
It's
pretty funny, Doug.
It was a great costume considering he was in an electric chair. You know, little pun here.
It was great.
I'm just glad you picked that one up, Kevin or Dave.
I'm just a baseball player.
A couple of shots up the middle, too close to the head. Let's see. Kevin, here we got another one. Kevin, who your favorite NASCAR
driver? We kind of know that.
Well, yeah, we can kind of see that.
Well, unless he's got a different one in the back. I know he's got somebody in the background.
You got anybody else that's Earnhardt? No, nobody but Earnhardt.
There we go.
Nobody but Earnhardt.
What about Earnhardt Jr.?
Whoa.
You saw that response, didn't you? That was like, no.
No, thank you.
So Mike Powers is asking what your favorite candy bar, but it's probably the same thing as your favorite donut.
Liquefied.
There you go. Well, is there any other words of wisdom that you two would like to share on to our pulling each other along listeners?
I had a question, though.
Oh, go ahead.
I had heard that Kevin's doing speaking engagements.
Yes.
What kind of groups does he talk to?
He mostly does United Way, believe it or not. He does a lot of United Way tours, and he does it for Adult Life. And he's also gone to churches and the Rotary clubs and a few other places. So just mostly local stuff, except for the United Way.
Sure. Very good. That's great. Keep it up.
Absolutely. So I do have a couple of things I wanted to announce if we can just go. We do have, we already made the announcement about liking the D3 Day video. So go to D3 Day on our Facebook page. And but we have a Kickstarter that we are going to start announcing. We're going to start this Kickstarter on November 9th. We're going to ask everybody to participate the first day, share, do all that stuff. And we're going to start doing some extra broadcasts. Dave Clark doesn't know this, but we will not have a show next Thursday evening, primarily because of my conflicting schedule. But I am going to have on some special guests more often. So be looking for the schedule. When those come up, share those. This is the first one. We're going to have Courtney Runyon back to kind of announce the Kickstarter. on our Facebook Live, and Courtney's got a great story. I think Kevin liked Courtney. Is that what I'm seeing there? Let's put that back up there for him.
No, she wasn't in that locker room, was she?
See now,
Was she
Kevin
in
has
the
a
girl
reason to
shower?
buy my book.
Okay, just checking.
Kevin has a reason to buy the book. You can get a couple of books, Kevin. So we're asking people to help us out. Watch those shows as they come on. I'm talking to Rocky Blyer. Rocky Blyer just did a video for me, so we'll be airing those things and hopefully have Rocky on live during the Kickstarter. But for about 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to ask people to pre-order the book. We're going to have things like shirts and hats and other things available to help us out with, so that we can raise hopefully a whole lot of money and a whole lot of funds to help us launch the Pulling Each Other Along movement and the Kickstarter, and to we hope we can pull you along, but we're also helping you to pull us along during that time. So be aware of those things that are coming up here very, very soon, and I'm going to be putting a lot of work into those things. And if you haven't already, make sure you go on to the Pulling Each Other Along website and download a foreword by Terry Bradshaw, who wrote the foreword for this upcoming book. It's a very fun read. You can get a free look at it. Click on his image, and you can go and download a free copy of the foreword. So there's our pitches for the day. But somehow we got to start making this Pulling Each Other Along show pay somehow, I guess.
Well, like Kevin said, it takes a community.
It takes a community, and we're asking the community. There you go, Sharon. I guess I'm going to have to get.
Wait a minute.
No, I want his hat.
There you go. Should I put that as one of the perks? The Dave Geis Pulling Each Other Along hat is one of the perks.
Yeah.
I think we
I
might
will
have to
come
do
back
that.
on.
What did Kevin say?
He said he would come back on your show and help your ratings.
There you go.
Well, I'm hoping you can help push us along and pull us along as well, Kevin.
Okay, sorry.
Well, you do help our ratings. I'm thinking people are watching the show, and hey, Sharon wants to buy a hat, so that's helping our ratings right there.
There you go.
That's good stuff when we can sell a hat. Dwayne, thanks for joining us today. Some of our regulars aren't on tonight that I can see.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the Tank in there though. Tank Cullen.
Yeah.
Tank was in here.
Tank in there, and Mike, who brought back the nightmares.
Tank wants to send you a Punisher shirt.
Right.
So Tank's a part of our book too. He's part of one of the stories with a young man, Austin, who is a part of our book, and his mom. So Jen, if you can send me that information, or you can find Tank PFFP Colon on Facebook, friend them, and get him your information. He wants to send Kevin a Punisher shirt.
Oh, wow. Oh.
I want to say hi to April Rivas too, Doug.
Yeah.
Gabriel's mom.
Right.
Hi, April. I did order some shirts for us today, guys. So just to support that, and I think there's a place, and I still have to figure out how we can if anybody wants a shirt for Gabriel, find April or Team Gabriel on Facebook and order one of the shirts, and that'll just in memory of such a young, wonderful young man. I know April's missing him dearly, and so we
all are.
Yeah. There you go. We got a thank you from April. And so go to, was it Team Gabriel, or what is it? What's the Facebook for Gabriel? Facebook page.
Is it Team Gabriel? It's Team Gabriel.
Gabriel. Team Gabriel Rivas or Revis. I never know how to pronounce their name. Revis.
Rivas. Is it Rivas or Revis?
Rivas. Yes, she is. She's missing her little boy, and we get that. And Raquel, welcome back. Thank you. Tom, he ordered 3 hats. Yes, you did. I still have not gotten those yet.
It'll be a while.
Team Gabriel.
No, he pays for them, so they come quicker.
I could probably make one for him and send it to him.
You told
What
me
do
you
we
were gonna
got?
make me one, man.
There's Facebook.com, Gabriel Rivas. Thank you, Kurt. You're good for something, man. That's great. That's very
Hey, he
helpful.
also eats well.
He eats well. Did you see that menu that he put on
Yeah.
there? So
Yummy.
anyway, we've got all sorts of people joining us today. So thanks for
Yeah.
thanks for tuning in. Sometimes I wonder why in the heck would anybody come on here, but we're glad that you do. And now I'm stuck. I can't get rid of the Facebook at Gabriel Rivas. It's spinning out on me. Anyway, well, I'm all. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we
Yeah.
can
All
hear
right.
you.
they're just, it's
We
not
hear you
letting
too
me do
much,
my-
man.
I'm sure you do. It's not letting me do my controls, so I'm stuck.
Uh-oh.
I might not be able to end the show. We
We're
might
on
not
forever.
After the
Oh
after
man, we're in
show,
purgatory.
It's the never-ending show.
the never-ending show with Kevin and Jen.
Kevin, we'll go on with story after story after
Pretty soon,
story.
Kurt's gonna start eating breakfast.
I'm stuck. The show's going to go on forever.
Don't tell him that. He's got 21 speeches in here.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
let's go.
We'll hear every once. Just start them now, Kevin.
Kurt, what's for
No,
breakfast, man?
he's kidding.
Waffles. I got waffles on standby. I can do anything you want.
Waffles on standby. Well, I'm going to try to say goodbye unless there's something anybody else. But I'm stuck. My controls are completely stuck,
That's fine.
Frozen.
I'm
The
frozen
clock
out.
still works. It's still counting.
Well, no, I think we're still live.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are.
But I
It's a
can't
marathon.
control a thing. So until
Oh my gosh.
I've never had this happen. So
is
Yeah,
great.
what's
Kurt,
the
what do we do?
blooper reel? How's that blooper reel coming?
I don't know.
We're making
Dave
one right now.
Stevens-
Release him. Let him go. Let him go.
Oh, no.
That's right.
Well, see, Sharon. I
We're
don't know.
making a blooper reel right now.
This is the biggest blooper reel of the day, along with Dave Stevens coming on with no sound.
Yeah, Mr.
Um,
Pro.
I think it was just supposed to be for whatever with the Facebook.com with Gabriel Revis up.
It's all right,
Tom, Doug, it might be an ultra. I don't know. Nikel, I don't know why you would love this, but I'm glad you do. And so, and anyway, I think we should just say goodbye. I can't change it to the other screen, and I really don't know what's going on. So we will try to end the stream. I don't know. I can't end it. So we'll just say goodbye. If you
It's
guys
all
all
on you,
end it,
Doug.
I'll end it on your side. If I
Kevin,
close-
thank you for joining us, buddy.
Thank you.
Jen, thank you.
I'll try to figure it
I
out.
want
Thank you,
that, Dave.
This button.
we're still going. I think.
We're always going. We're never ending tonight.
I think the only thing I can do is shut down my computer, but then I'm hoping, I hope it still records, but we'll find out. Anyway, guys, see y'all next week.
See you, Kurt. See you, Dave.
There's
See you
Dave.
guys.
See ya.
Bye, Kevin. See you,
And-
Hey,
Jen.
there's Kevin. All right, Kevin.
Take care,
I
everybody.
can't click anything.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Later, everybody.
Good night, John Boy, if you're there. So there you go, Dave Clark.
Oh,
There goes Dave. Dave, guys, you might as well go too. We'll just go one at a time.
all
I
right.
can't
See you
click
guys.
anything, so I'm just going to shut my computer down.
All right.
All right, see you guys.
See ya.
See ya.